Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, Healthy Gateway Podcast. Today, we welcome Mr. William Breton. He's the Vice President and CCO at Medicard. Today's podcast, we will be discussing a little bit about the innovative financing solutions offered by Medicard. Many individuals, we at Healthy Gateway have found that these people dream of undergoing various medical procedures, but they're often deterred by the associated costs in related with all these procedures. So in this episode, we will explore how Medicare can make these dreams a reality by providing accessible financing options. Hi, William. How are you today?
Hey, Diana, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So let's start from the beginning. Tell us and our patients or future patients here in Ontario about Medicard.
Yeah, so Medicard is one of Canada's leading healthcare financing providers. We were founded in Canada about 27 years ago. We're today still 100% Canadian-owned business, so that's something we're really proud of. We operate nationwide with over, I'll say, 10,000 healthcare providers across the country. Over the years, we've financed more than 150,000 Canadians over the years, so it's been a great ride. What we do, you mentioned it at Medicard, is that we help Canadians access the medical procedures they need without having, the financial burden of paying everything upfront. And we all know how expensive some of these procedures can be. So we like to say that we make healthcare more accessible by offering these flexible and affordable financing solutions for a wide range of procedures that we'll talk more about today. So essentially, we're there to break down these cost barriers into manageable monthly payments. I think that what sets us apart truly at Medicard is that we're a fintech, a financial technology company. We're a technology-driven lender. We have an IT team of about 30 in-house developers who are just dedicated to building our innovative and seamless financing programs. So technology is really at the core of our business, sets us apart. And unlike traditional banks where financing can take, hours, even days, while Medicard makes the process easy and efficient, and what takes hours with banks can just take simply a few minutes with Medicard.
Well, that's great to know. And for everyone who's watching and listening us, this is a revolution because, as you mentioned, it takes quite some time to make to get an answer. And when you make things so easy, then people, I do know, they do appreciate professionalism, but also quick answer.
Exactly.
So tell us, how can financing make the process easier for patients? Now we know it's quick, but is there something else that you can mention for Medicard?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and it's a question that we hear all the time. I think I'd start by saying that many people assume that medical procedures, especially those done abroad, are out of reach financially when it's simply not the case. Like I said earlier, our mission is to build these innovative and flexible financing programs. And for us, being able to serve Canadians that want to get procedures abroad, well, that fits in our mission as a business. And whatever the procedure people want, we're there to offer these financing options that allow patients to pay in affordable monthly payments rather than having to pay everything upfront. So this means that instead of patients having to, delay or forego some procedures because of cost concerns, well, now they can move forward with treatments or procedures because they have solutions that makes it fit in their budget. I'd say that there's also many countries that offer high quality medical care at very competitive pricing. And I'd say that Medicard's financing solution, well, patients can take advantage of these savings without the financial stress. So if you've been considering a procedure or are hesitant because of the costs, well, I encourage you to explore our financing options because it's more accessible than people realize, and we're there to help make that possible.
Right. I like what you mentioned because, yes, It doesn't mean that because it's abroad, it doesn't cost a dime. It does, but it's definitely a fraction of what you would pay if the medical procedure, where it's a aesthetical or a treatment, or when it comes to dental implants, those will cost a little bit more if they're done in within our country. So when you consider going to Latin America through Health Gateway, we can definitely connect. We work as a liaison between the patient and the top tier institutions in Latin America. And then you know that along with Medicard, you will get immediate access without compromising professionalism, but also you won't have to be so worried about the financing options because
Exactly.
Medicard, it's right there to assist you.
Exactly.
So let's move on with the next question. Can you, William, tell us how does Medicard work? Can you walk us through the process step by step when someone wants to get your assistance when it comes to financing?
Sure. And the good news is that it's extremely quick and simple. I mean, that's what we wanted to make sure. Like I mentioned earlier, over the years, we've invested significantly in technology, and the goal was to build a seamless application process. So today we have something that is easy and intuitive to use. The whole process just takes a few minutes. So how it's going to begin is that clients will either go, for example, on your website or directly on medicard.com and click apply. They'll be brought to an application page where they can put in their personal information. So name, date of birth, address, and employment information. So very basic information that people know, at the tip of their fingers.
Mm-hmm.
The first step is going to be what we call the pre-qualification stage. So this step will not affect their credit score, but it's a way for them to get an estimate of what their payment, their interest, and their maximum amount to borrow can look like. If seeing that first proposal, what they like the condition, well, at that step, they can decide to move forward. If they do move forward, that's where we need to do a complete check of their credit bureau. Everything, I think it's important to say, everything is automated. We've built it with artificial intelligence, machine learning. So ultimately, all the applicant has to do is click on a few buttons to go through the steps. So, pre-qualification, they like the offer, they click continue. We do a full credit check. They like the offer, they click continue. And from there, we'll just ask them to choose their first payment dates, confirm what the final amount is, and they'll sign their contract electronically. The whole process is, takes 10, 15 minutes, can be done on a tablet, on a computer, on a phone. So, that's what we built, something that we believe is perfectly aligned with where the market is today in 2025. So it's something innovative, quick, and easy to use.
Very easy. So we mentioned something about the credit score. So my question will be, when you apply about that, we know some people might worry about hurting their credit score. We go a little bit in depth in this? I want to make sure people don't feel that there's something that is related to their credit score.
Yeah, sure. So it's actually divided into two steps in the application flow, like I just mentioned. The first step, which is the pre-qualification, it has no impact on the credit score. So if patients just want to get an idea of, what their conditions could look like, please apply. It has no impact on your credit score. Once you get the pre-qualification, like I said, we'll give you an estimate of your interest rate, of your payment, and of your amount. If you don't like the conditions, then just move on. Don't decide to go forward. And there's been absolutely no impact, on your credit score. On the other hand, if you do like the conditions, that's where you will continue with the process. That's where we will do a hard credit check. And at that step, it does have an impact on your credit score, but you do have a good idea of what the conditions of the approval will look like. So it's essentially the best of worlds for patients that wish to apply, where they can get an estimate of the conditions without any consequences on their credit profile.
Okay, that clarifies. What kinds of procedures can people finance with Medicard?
So we really do it all. And, as we've been building the business over the years, it's something that, we always had in mind. And as a lender, I think if you want to be one of the leaders in the healthcare and medical space, you got to make sure that you offer a wide range offering to, touch as many procedures as you can. So today we're not limited to any specific treatments or procedures. So as an example, and, I won't name them all, but we'll do medical and surgical procedures, dental and oral care that you were referring to, fertility and reproductive treatments, vision and eye care, dermatology, hair restoration, hearing, international medical treatments. So you see, I just named many there. There are so many in the industry. It's a very dynamic industry. And for us, we don't discriminate in any way. We're there to facilitate. So, we do them all.
Those procedures that you just mentioned, I like to add that a potential patient who's looking for these type of services in Latin America, we at Healthy Gateway can connect you with the right provider without feeling a little bit stressed about the quality that you can get from top medical institutions in Latin America. So let's move on with, so let's say that we do have a potential patient that wants to undergo an aesthetical surgery. How soon do Medicard can get back to this patient so that they can schedule this surgery in Latin America? How soon that can happen? I know that very soon it's easy for them to reply, but my question will be how soon they can get the money in their pocket.
So it's a matter of minutes. That's the short answer. Again, what people have to do is either go online on Medicard.com and click apply, or go through the provider that's offering our financing programs. They'll go through the application process that I just explained about 5 minutes ago.
Right.
What a lot of patients actually do is they can even do the whole approval process before booking their procedure. So they go into booking their procedure knowing how much they've been approved for and what the conditions are. So if you know, for example, that you're approved for whatever, $25,000, then you might, go through with procedures that you couldn't expect that you could afford. But with Medicard, you now have the possibility to, do whatever procedure that you were looking for. So it's certainly a same-day process. It's usually when someone's used to technology, so it takes 10 to 15 minutes. It depends. Sometimes we'll fund, directly the patient. In certain conditions, we fund the provider that just takes care of absolutely everything. So it depends on the agreements that we have, but we're pretty flexible in making sure that, we facilitate for, yes, the patients, but also for the providers that work with us.
Yeah, well, thank you for clarifying that to me, because I might be lost in translation, but to me, I was kind of getting that it's easy to apply. The approval happens within 10, 15 minutes, but at the same time, the funds can be received by that potential client within the same day.
100%. Yeah, that's correct.
Excellent. Okay, so many people use credit cards to pay for procedures. Why might a financing plan be a better option?
So it's there's a lot of things in that question. I'd say the first thing is that if you use a credit card, 30 days later, you have to pay your credit card balance in full. And if you don't, then high interest rates start to kick in. With financing, there's a lot of advantages. Here are just a few. So first, we'll have lower interest rates. There are some providers that even offer promotional programs at 0% interest. Our regular program starts at 7.95%, which is extremely competitive in today's market. So lower interest rates. The other thing I'd say is flexible payment plans. So like I said, with a credit card, you have to pay in full 30 days later. our amortizations and financing terms go up to 84 months, which allows the patients for much smaller payments on a monthly basis, which allows to fit in their budget and their financial realities. The other thing I'd say is using Medicard is going to keep your credit available. You maybe need your credit card limit for emergencies, for other expenses, you have children, whatever your situation is. You don't necessarily want to max out your credit card for whatever procedure you're about to go through. So we are a good option to avoid that situation. And I'd say the last thing is Medicard allows for much higher limits in terms of the amounts that we allow people to borrow. So we'll go up to $40,000. There are some credit cards that allow you to go up to these amounts. Not all. Sometimes the processes to get these approvals are very cumbersome and very long with the banks and the traditional lenders. So we come in with an option that is much more adapted, flexible, automated, and that's what's allowed the success of Medicard over the years.
Okay, so for someone for anyone actually who's listening to us right now and considering financing their procedure, what's the first step they should take? What's that advice that you want to give to those potential patients that are kind of thinking on getting a medical procedure?
So I think the first step would actually be just apply through medicard.com or your clinic's website. Like I mentioned, we have that pre-qualification stage that will give you visibility on what the conditions you would look like. And having that information or getting that information won't have any impact on your credit score. So you don't have anything to lose by just applying. Just fill out the form, the online application, just takes a few minutes. You'll receive your decision. There's no obligation. And then if you decide to move forward, you'll be able to review your payment plan options, choose something that fits in your budget. And, from there, we'll coordinate directly with you, your healthcare provider. We'll take care of the payment so you can move forward with, your procedure worry-free.
Right.
I also think it's important to mention that if you're working with a medical provider that does not offer financing with Medicard yet, that's not a problem. It's extremely easy for them to get set up with us for financing. We can contact the provider on your behalf. We can work with you guys at Healthy Gateway. We can work with the patient. So we have, a client success team. Again, we're there to facilitate, not do the opposite. We're there to help. And it's a very important decision for anyone, any patient in their life. It's an important purchase in terms of getting that treatment, that service. So whether it's, for understanding your options, adjusting your plan, getting guidance, well, we're there and we're available to assist and support anyone that calls our way.
Well, that's wonderful, William. I think we've covered the vast majority of questions that potential patients might have and are a little bit hesitant on whether making a decision, traveling abroad and getting any medical procedure or treatment. So before we just say goodbye, I'd like to ask you if there is anything you'd like to add or a message for a potential patient of yours.
Yeah, well, we've been doing this for a long time. I think that, like I just mentioned, it's an important step in someone's life if they're considering, whatever the treatment is. You want to make sure that you partner with a company that knows what they're talking about, that has the relationship, that has the credibility. Just talking for ourselves, we have that. We're there to support. We have the knowledge and the expertise. So if you have questions, again, you want guidance, you just need support for whatever the reason is, go on medicard.com. We have a contact page. You have all our contact info there. Our team will be very happy to assist you or inform you with anything or any questions or worries that you have. And again, we're there to help, and we look forward to having relationships with all of you future patients in the near future.
Thank you, and same here for those who are watching and listening to us. Healthy Gateway also has 30+ years of experience behind the scenes. Their medical treatments, healthcare institutions in Latin America that can offer a trustable and reliable service. So if you have questions, feel free to ask us, contact us as well, www.yourhealthygateway.com. So, William, thank you so much for joining us. This was a very insightful conversation, and I hope that everyone who's watching us find this insightful and helpful. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you for having me. It was great. Thank you.
Thanks.